Hello and welcome to the weekly drop-in mindfulness meditation session for Mindfulness Voyage. This is Ted Meissner. Thank you so much for being here and joining the community and having this wonderful, wonderful supportive exploration of different topics each week. For those of you who are watching this as a recording later, our schedule is that we have a few minutes before the recording starts just to catch up on the previous week's plain old events as a human being and connect in that way. And then we start the recording for a lightly guided practice after a short talk. And then we'll finish up the recording part, and then we stick around for about half an hour to unpack the topic a little more in depth. And our topic this week, ironically, the fascinating topic of boredom. I want to chat a little bit about what I mean by that because it's something that happens very commonly with people who take on a mindfulness or formal meditation practice, is that this experience called boredom is something that is likely to be encountered, especially over time. And there are a lot of different reasons for this. Sometimes it may be that we've been doing the same practice again and again and again for years and years, and there is a normal human tendency to have this impression that this is something already known, and there's nothing interesting or novel about this because it's not novel. It's perceived as the same old thing. And there are different ways in which we can work with that. One of them, and this is prompted from an email I got some time ago about, you've been doing this for a very long time. How is it that you're not bored with doing just the same kind of meditation for so very long at this point, about 30 years? And I said, because each time I do this same practice, it's a unique experience. It's different than any other time that I've done it. But that takes some intentionality and some awareness to actually tune into the novelty of this particular moment. Now, boredom is a little different than one might think. It's not always my mind is on something else, like the list of tasks, of things I need to get accomplished, or gosh, I really want to catch up on that binge watch show that I haven't seen. That's a different thing. That's not boredom. That's an interest in being somewhere else, having our attention somewhere else, and not on our formal practice. And that happens too. That's a somewhat different thing. Boredom might have, at least as we're talking about it here, a characteristic of disinterest and not a focused attention on wanting to do something specific, something else, but maybe anything else. And there's a little bit of aversion to what we're doing here right now. And each one of those can have its own different kinds of solutions and things that may make a difference for you in your own practice. So with that, what we're going to do today is do a little bit of focused attention practice and exploring the novelty of this particular moment. So with that, we're going to do our practice for the rest of our time today. And as we do each week, this practice is lightly guided. There is going to be some words spoken, but that's just setting some boundaries and some direction for you. Most of our time together during this is in silence and using that opportunity, that time of silence, to explore as deeply as you can what is showing up for you, and making appropriate adjustments in your practice. So we'll talk more about that. That will be included as part of today's guidance. So let's take our meditation seats. And for those of you who are new and haven't joined us before, taking your meditation seat does not necessarily mean literally a seat. It means adjusting our intention to being present, to showing up with care, landing in this body, in this moment, and giving ourselves permission to arrive. So taking our meditation seat physically, perhaps adjusting the posture a little bit, invite some wakefulness by sitting up tall and straight as is comfortable for you in your body. If you do need to use the backrest, if you're on a chair, then do so. that is an appropriate choice for you. But if you prefer to scooch forward a little bit, be on the edge of your seat physically and maybe with your mind as well, having that interest, that enthusiasm for what might be coming up in this very moment. You can have your eyes open or closed, whatever is most supportive for you right now. And starting to get in touch with your home base. Each week we start with arriving and checking in, noticing what's here, and then focusing on an experience that you can get in touch with. Maybe not the most unpleasant or pleasant experience, something more neutral. And noticing what that might be for you in this moment. For many of us, it is sensations of breathing, taking in air and letting it go moment by moment. And if breathing is a comfortable experience for you, just checking into that and noticing, where do you feel it most in your body? Becoming aware of the different sensations of breathing in, breathing out. And gently allowing breathing to be something that happens on its own. You don't need to control it or shape it. And instead just be with, feeling and experiencing each breath all the way through. And noticing as well, how are you responding to paying attention to the breath? It may be that this is not the most comfortable experience for you, and if so, it's okay to choose something else. Home base does not have to be the breath. You can place your attention on the bottoms of your feet or the tips of your fingers, or just listening to sounds and silence. To take your time. There's no rush. This is a rush-free zone. And make a choice about what home base is most helpful for you. And get to know it with a little bit of playful curiosity. As mind and attention sometimes wanders from home base, noticing that is a moment of present moment awareness and mindfulness. So just notice where the mind is and bring attention back. And settle in and get reacquainted once more, again and again. That's the practice of mindfulness. Noticing, returning, and getting reacquainted with the curious moment of this experience. If your home base is now present with you, you're inhabiting that experience, it is accessible for you, you can explore a recollection of some time in your life when boredom was present. However, boredom showed up for you. What was that like? This is a gentle curiosity, not an interrogation. There's a softness, a welcoming in this exploration of what boredom was like. Still supported by your home base. So take your time and explore, what was boredom like? How did it show up? Not the story, the experience of it. What was that like? And here too, take your time, there's no rush. This is getting to know boredom and what that was like. And once you have that sense, this is boredom. This is what it was like for me. Continuing with this exploration of how did that change? Did it change? And what was that like? And take your time with that exploration as well. And just making some mental notes for yourself about the experience of boredom and how that changed, if that changed. And then setting those aside and coming back to your home base. And inhabiting that maybe even just a little bit more fully now. Just a little bit. And perhaps gently checking in with the body and noticing if some slouching has shown up. knowing that you always have the opportunity, the choice to adjust your posture, your practice. And arriving with home base. Once again, fresh arriving and inhabiting of home base. And establishing a gentle intention to still be mindfully present when the formal practice itself comes to a conclusion. That's not an end. That is a new beginning and a new moment to still be here, to show up with care. So once you've established that intention to still be embodied in this moment with interest, and allow the eyes to open if you've had them closed, and still being in the body, listening to it in a different way and noticing what movements, stretches might feel nice after a little bit of stillness in our time together today. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining this practice. And for those who are here live in the community, we're going to stick around after the recording is finished to share about our ideas and what came up in boredom and how we dealt with it, if we did. If you'd like to join, again, there will be a link to join this community where comments are found. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Appreciate seeing you. Hope you can join us next time. Thanks so much.